Hey guys, welcome back to Second Take. It's Vishwa here, and today we're going to be discussing how dangerous the Brooklyn Nets can truly be next season. Now, I know in a previous video I did say the Celtics do have a potential finals run shot due to the upgrades they made in the offseason, as well as their current young talent. But after seeing the overall talent on the Nets roster, led by superstars Kyrie, Irving, and Kevin Durant in full display, you gotta wonder how dominant this team could be, and unlike the Celtics, could they perhaps have a shot at winning the finals? And yes, I'm saying potentially they could be winning over the Lakers if everything goes down as planned and if they stay healthy and are very well coached by new coach Steve Nash. The Nets, as we've seen, have looked absolutely tremendous in their two preseason games, specifically how their two superstars have been playing, in addition to a very good supporting cast in Caris LeVert, DeAndre Jordan, Spencer Dinwiddie, Jarrett Allen, Joe Harris, Taurean Prince, and many more players. I'll first talk about their past season briefly and how they fared, especially with their heavily injured team. Then I'll talk about how much of a better team they could be with KD and Kyrie leading the group, with the same players that led the team to the playoffs by themselves, and can they dethrone the easy favorite to win the title, the Los Angeles Lakers. To begin with, when looking back at the 2019-20 season, the Nets finished with a 35-37 record and 7th in the much weaker Eastern Conference. This was already very impressive because as Kyrie was out for the majority of the season and KD missed the entirety of it, both also played it safe to miss the bubble so that they could start fresh next season. And the primary reason, as we know, was so that the roster can be freshly rejuvenated and healthy for the contending season that they hope to have next season. And both stars joining back during the bubble would simply been too much of a risk chemistry-wise and injury-wise, and they wouldn't be the best possible team they could be. And when you look at the Nets this year, they never really stood out in any stat category, whether it be points a game, assists, defense, and more, but they were a top 10 team in three-point shooting makes per game. What I really noticed about this team is how balanced they were all around, and their team played really unselfishly with no best player or leader of the team or ISO player in the season before Caris LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie started to take on a bigger role, who I'll discuss later, for the team, especially in crucial clutch situations where you just needed a bucket. They also had terrific other players like Joe Harris, who's one of the best three-point shooters in the game, as well as he's a great defender at the 2 or the 3. Jarrett Allen's also a young 7-foot big man with insane shot blocking ability, as he would be undaunted to challenge the best athletes at the rim like LeBron, Blake Griffin. He's had some pretty life-changing blocks on a lot of guys. His offensive potential was also improving as a great rebounder on both ends and a lob threat. The same could be said with DeAndre Jordan, as he's also a solid veteran. And finally, they had excellent role players like Taurean Prince, Theo Pinson, Wilson Chandler, and Garrett Temple. The third string was also solid with guys like Chris Chiozza, Rodion Kurucs, and Tyler Johnson, and others, and these guys would be really crucial for getting the Nets a lot of wins, especially in the NBA bubble. They were led by Kenny Atkinson, who is one of the best developmental coaches in the game. Atkinson was able to lead a team that didn't have a leader into a team that was just more of a complete team in terms of team play. As we saw, their ball movement was impeccable, and his coaching style helped develop all the role players, as I mentioned. In my opinion, him being fired had absolutely nothing to do with his abilities as a head coach, because there was simply no way Kyrie and KD would get along with a player developmental coach like Atkinson, who is much better suited for teams with young talent and a lot of potential. This resulted in hiring NBA legend Steve Nash, who I'll be discussing later once again. The Nets actually delivered a solid performance in the bubble, finishing with a 6-2 record, even without, once again, their stars Kyrie and KD, Nick Claxton, Michael Beasley, and Wilson Chandler, and more importantly, their much better players DeAndre Jordan, Spencer Dinwiddie, and Taurean Prince that could not play due to positive COVID tests. Once again, majority props go to Coach Atkinson for doing the best with what he had, and their solid third stringers like Timothé Luwawu-Cabarrot, Rodion Kurucs, Chris Chiozza, and others stepping up and doing their best before suffering a tough defeat to the Toronto Raptors in the first round of the playoffs. Now I'm going to be talking about the importance of having their superstars Kyrie and KD back and the other acquisitions they made this offseason, such as acquiring Landry Shamet during draft night, Bruce Brown by trade, and Jeff Green. I'll then examine how this roster can fit together this season and why they can potentially be good enough to overthrow the Los Angeles Lakers. But before I get into all that, we'll first discuss the importance of surprise hiring Steve Nash, an all-time great, and along with Charles Barkley, probably the greatest Phoenix Sun of all time. Nash needs no introduction in terms of his basketball IQ, being a 2-time MVP, 8-time All-Star, and he led the league in assists for 5 seasons. GM Sean Marks called him one of the greatest on-court leaders in the game. Many people were quite shocked by his hiring, as Nash may not have had as much coaching experience, and fans would expect someone like Tyronn Lue or Mike D'Antoni or a normal coach. But the primary reason they hired Nash was because of his relationships with the superstars KD and Kyrie, specifically KD. Their relationship was first formed in KD's tenure with the Warriors, where Nash was serving as an assistant coach. Nash also did have a decent experience coaching the Canadian national team, and reports describe that Kevin Durant, who doesn't usually listen to many people and coaches he's had in the past, sees eye to eye with Nash in many aspects of the game. Nash even announced that due to KD's versatility, he's going to try to play him at all 5 positions on the court, which shows how much trust he has in him. The same goes for Kyrie Irving, as they were both star point guards. I think Kyrie attended one of his kickball events in the past, and Nash also worked with Steph Curry with the Warriors, thus proving how he can help Kyrie and even more with Nash's high passing IQ. Finally, Nash also hired former NBA star Amari Stoudemire as an assistant coach, who is also a great addition. Obviously, the reason why the Nets seem to be hiring coaches that were former stars to appease their superstars, and after all, it is a players' league nowadays. Therefore, this hiring was based on relationships, not by race, according to Stephen A. Smith. Now we'll discuss their specific players on their roster, as well as returning members from injuries like KD, Kyrie, Landry Shamet, Bruce Brown, and Jeff Green. When discussing Kevin Durant, he's arguably the greatest scorer of all time and perhaps the most unguardable player of all time as well. KD's 7-foot lanky frame and his extraordinary skill set allow him to score in any way possible. His primary positions include playing the 3 or the 4, but he'll be starting at the 4 for the Nets most likely. And he can first score by driving to the rack, which is caused by his athletic ability and his tight handles that he can use to either drive or stop on a dime by using his hezzies or stutter steps. He can also use his skill set and his 7-foot frame and his large 7'5" wingspan to operate in the post, creating a lot of mismatches for smaller players where he could either blow by his defender or simply just shoot over his defender, as his shot is unblockable. And finally, KD has the ability to both ISO from the top of the key for his signature mid-range pull-up, a pull-up 3, or drive to the rack, and he can also shoot off the catch and have others create for him as well. His defense is also really underrated because of his size and his length. Guarding the 3 and the 4 come very easy for him. As for KD's abilities as a playmaker, he's very underrated in this aspect, as he did average 5 and 6 assists for a lot of years in his career. He may not have the point forward abilities of someone like Ben Simmons and Luka Doncic or LeBron, averaging about 8 or more assists, but he's still an excellent quick ball handler that can make plays for others to a really good extent. If you look at KD's 12-season career as a whole, his accolades and stats need no introduction, as he won Rookie of the Year. He's a 2-time Finals MVP. He won MVP in 2014 when he averaged 32 points, 7 boards, and 5 dimes, and he also has 9 All-NBA selections. He's also never averaged below 20 points his whole career before making his way to the Golden State Warriors in hopes of winning a ring. When analyzing his fit with the Nets, as I said earlier, Nash plans to fit him in at any position, whether it's a small ball 5 or if he's playing the 1 as Nash described, and he'll be a matchup nightmare for opponents. He'll for sure be the number 1 scoring option, but will also create plays for others, while Kyrie can play off the ball. He can either throw lobs to Jarrett Allen or DeAndre Jordan, kick out to open shooters and cutters like Kyrie, Karis LeVert, Joe Harris, Dinwiddie, or Prince, and it'll be very easy for KD, especially with Nash as the head coach. His injuries seem to be giving him very little troubles, as in his 2 preseason games, he scored 15 the first, 25 the second, putting on a full display of his various scoring methods. Overall, if KD stays healthy, his fit is seamless for this team, and he'll bring the Nets a lot of success in all aspects of the game. As for Kyrie Irving, many fans and executives are really creeped out by him, especially because of his strange attitude, which consists of not talking to the media, and his belief in ancient spirits, as he was burning sage in the stadium in a second preseason game, which I won't go much in depth with as I don't have much knowledge on that. But if you examine Kyrie as a basketball player instead, he's arguably a top 3 to top 5 point guard in the game and is known as having the best handles of all time and has an insane layup package as well. His first years in Cleveland were terrific, as he was a key piece in winning the 2016 finals with the Cavs during the LeBron era. But he ended up leaving Cleveland and went to the Celtics due to his motives of being more of a team leader, as he was shadowed by LeBron in Cleveland. Unfortunately, Kyrie would still be unsatisfied with the Celtics, and this is primarily because of the emergence of the young stars Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. He was constantly unhappy and didn't fit well with the group at all, which resulted in him finally arriving at Brooklyn. Irving has proved his worth as a clutch player that can create plays for others while not being too ball dominant like someone like James Harden or Russell Westbrook. A ball dominant duo like them usually doesn't turn out well, as seen through the Houston Rockets in a couple of seasons. Kyrie can also make plays for others when needed, score the ball in a variety of ways like pull up 3, pull up mid-range, drive to the rack, and he has an acrobatic layup package like I said. And I don't really need to say much for him, besides he had a really great stint with the Nets last year, averaging 27 points and 6 dimes, and the Nets did very well with him in the game, but you can't help but imagine how much better they'd be with KD as well. I won't discuss the rest of the supporting cast in depth, but I will point out 2 guys who I'm very high on, Karis LeVert and Spencer Dinwiddie, who are arguably the best players on the team when counting out Kyrie and KD. These guys played exceptionally well in the absence of the 2 superstars. LeVert was a primary leader of the team, especially with Dinwiddie injured for quite some time, and he improved from averaging 13 to 18 points as he took on a bigger role for the team at the starting shooting guard or small forward position. LeVert is a very skilled two-way player that can create his own shot, and he complements very well in scoring, distributing when needed, and great defense. He had some surprise 40 to 50 point games, showing a lot of promise for the team, as he is dropping that many points as the 3rd or 4th best player of the team. And I originally thought LeVert would start at the 3 along with Kyrie, Joe Harris, KD, and DeAndre Jordan. But after Nash's decisions to bring him off the bench in the preseason, I actually think that this is a more beneficial role for him. He dropped a solid 18 points off the bench in his second preseason game, and this is exactly what the Nets needed. With Kyrie and KD being the scorers in the first unit, LeVert's talent is just too much to keep in the starting lineup as an off-ball 3-point shooter and a cutter, but rather plays full versatile game in the second unit where he can also create plays for others. His catch-and-shoot 3-pointer is also not the best, which means that he's a much better player when he's asked to ISO or create his own shot.
As for Spencer Dinwiddie, his career as a basketball player is very inspirational, as he was never expected to play any high level of competitive basketball, especially being 5'9" and weighing only about 109 pounds. But he worked his way up from the bottom, playing in G League teams like the Windy City Bulls. His contract with the Pistons in 2014 also only consisted of something like a 3-year, $2 million deal, and now look where he is now. He's a key player on the Nets who is currently earning a 3-year, $34 million contract. Dinwiddie was also a no-name player on the Bulls and on the Pistons, as he was also traded for Cameron Bairstow, a guy who's no longer in the NBA. He often talked about how he never got any playing time in Detroit, as Coach Van Gundy never played him much, which was a really highly regrettable decision given how good he is right now. Spencer is coming off a breakout season with the Nets, which saw him average 20 points and 7 assists as he was finally producing well in his years with the Nets. A lot of credit has to be given to Coach Atkinson once again, as he's so good at developing youngsters, and now that the youngsters are pretty well developed, Steve Nash can take the team to the next level. As for Spencer's role with the Nets, he did acknowledge his mediocre 30% from three-point line, but this is largely due to his huge role on the Nets, and that consisted of him taking a lot of contested three-point shots like tough step backs. But he did say that he was a near star caliber player last year, and he is willing to serve in whatever way that helps the Nets win the chip, whether it involves playing off ball or, as you see, passing the ball really well, while Kyrie and KD are the main scorers by averaging about 7 to 10 assists. The Nets also have several terrific contributors like Joe Harris, who is one of the best three-point shooters in the game and is an excellent teammate for Kyrie and KD to have, as every contending team needs that type of guy that is just a lights-out amazing spot-up shooter, and Joe Harris is that guy for them, as he contributes as more than just a three-point shooter. He's a great defender at both the 2 or the 3 and is a great cutter. Harris has been an absolute sniper with the Nets, averaging 14 points his last couple of seasons, and he shot 38, 47, then 42% from 3. The 2018-19 season saw him lead the league in three-point shooting, as he shot a ridiculous 47% from 3. I don't need to say anything else about him, but he's a terrific contributor that will most likely start at the 3 this season. Jarrett Allen and DeAndre Jordan are also beasts in the paint. Allen is one of the best shot blockers in the league, and even though his offensive potential isn't that high, he can still be a beast. The main reason I would say he should be in the second unit is similar to LeVert, that he can really prevent other teams from scoring and keep the second unit in check as well. DeAndre Jordan is also a terrific lob catcher, and the main reason he would start over Allen is simply because he's a veteran that can work much better with the superstars, while Allen can show out in the second unit. The Nets also acquired Landry Shamet, who is a terrific three-point shooter that can provide a scoring spark off the bench. Shamet was an absolute sniper similar to Joe Harris for the Clippers, and he got heavy minutes due to this. Although Bruce Brown's name doesn't jump out as much as he should be, and he was on the Pistons, but he's a great defensive stopper that brings high energy and can be useful in the second or third string. Jeff Green was also acquired by the Nets. He can be a terrific front court piece for them, as he's a great all-around player that can space the floor and show out defensively, and he also keeps things in check with the second unit as well. As a whole, the Nets starting lineup would be Kyrie Irving, Spencer Dinwiddie, Joe Harris, Kevin Durant, and DeAndre Jordan, with the second unit led by Caris LeVert, Landry Shamet, Jeff Green, and Jarrett Allen. This looks very overpowered. With Kyrie and KD taking charge in the starting lineup with scoring and making plays, with Joe Harris there to space the floor, Spencer Dinwiddie as another ball handler and playmaker, with Jordan to do the dirty work on the boards and rim protecting, the second unit can also be similarly dominant, with Caris LeVert, who averaged 20 points nearly last season at the 1, and he can initiate the offense by making plays for others and scoring the ball, while guys like Shamet, Prince, and Jeff Green can space the floor. Having a shot blocker like Jarrett Allen is also lethal. The third string is also very capable, with guys like Chris Chiozza, Tyler Johnson, Rodion Kurucs, Bruce Brown, and TLC. To me, this roster, if it stays healthy, especially coached by the high IQ of Steve Nash, especially in the postseason as well, where KD has done a lot of damage, this team could potentially dethrone the Lakers and win the chip. And that's going to cap it off for today's video. Thank you guys for watching. If you're new to this channel, please subscribe, as we're going to be giving a lot of expert analysis on a lot of buzz going on around the league in the regular season, as well as address a lot of rumors. We're on the road to 400 subs, and also please smash that like button. Comment down below what you think of the overall roster. Also give us ideas and what other topics on the NBA you'd like to see us cover. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.